Hello there and welcome back to another edition of Silly Car Showdown. Today, now we are taking a look at the Ford Foxbox Mustang. This car was requested by Inferno the Fox, aptly, and believe it or not, this is a rear car in this game. Apparently it's a wheel spin only vehicle, but I bought this one for 130 grand off the auction house, which is way too much money. But I do quite like the Fox body Mustang, especially with this paint job. I think it looks absolutely fantastic, and we're going to do something very silly to this vehicle indeed today. So we are going to of course swap the engine. The standard 5.0 may be good for 500 horsepower, and then the block starts to break in half, so we'll not go with that. Our choices of engine are 6.2 litre V8, 8.4 litre V10, or the 6.5 litre V12, typical muscle car stuff. We're going for the V10. The first time we've actually used the V10 thus far, because Inferno requested he wanted the V12 specifically, and we will go for the twin turbos. As usual, in accordance with the series, no drivetrain swaps are allowed, but there you go. Also, no Forza Aero is allowed, so we don't have to get that wing, unfortunately. But we will grab this very 90s body kit. Oh god, I don't really want any of those, but should we have some? I don't know. That one's probably the most in shape with the livery, so sod it. I guess I'll have the bulge to show this thing having a bigger engine. Alright, tyres. I'm hoping for good things here, because of course this is a muscle car, so 275s on front, which is very big, bigger than the TVR's tyres last time, and oh my god, look at those, 345s on the rear. Jesus Christ, they're some of the biggest rear tyres we've ever had. Those are hilariously big. Go away, Forza Fun Life. Right, in terms of PI, I'm not expecting this to be particularly high. In terms of power, I'm expecting this to be quite good. But we will have to wait and see. Drop the car a little bit. I'm surprised we didn't have any track out options on this one, considering the track is fairly well hidden in this car, but there you go. Anyways, roll cage is going to be necessary, and weight reduction is not going to remove as much weight as I thought it would. Right, time to build up the power on this Viper V10, and I am expecting pretty high power from this engine. Apparently it's already been built in this particular car, which I will not complain about. I believe this thing was actually upgraded when I bought it, so that probably explains it. Anyways, yeah, we are getting a good amount of power out of this. There we go. And finally, stick on the flywheel. While it's not a high PI car, it does have a 1,128 horsepower, 997 foot-pound torque, and 2,779 pounds of weight. It's an 8.5 litre V10 now. 2.9 seconds to 60, top speed of 249 miles per hour. Yeah, very, very quick is the Fox body Mustang apparently. But the question is, will it be able to put all that power to the ground? And that PI being as low as it is concerns me slightly, because I don't think it should be that low with this sort of... with how big the tyres are on this thing and everything, it should be higher. So maybe trouble is afoot, or maybe paradise is. Let's go find out. So, to find out how well the Foxbox will do with its newfound power, we of course have arrived at the Edinburgh circuit, where this car will get 5 laps to set the best time it possibly can. Our current leader is the Ferrari Borghini Huracan V12 GT with a 135.743. When that car got to the top of the leaderboard, I really should have given it a shorter name. But yes, that's the car at the top of the leaderboard, 135.743. This vehicle unlikely to beat that. To be honest with you, the Foxbox, and also I know it's Fox body, but Foxbox is an in-joke, so that's what I'm going to refer to it as. Anyways, the probably closest comparison to this car would be the Gremlin, which at a time of 149.182. We haven't really had that much in the way of classic muscle. Yeah, I'm just looking down the board, seeing if there's anything that I could really, quote, say is muscle car-y. And other than the Cayman, not really. Oh, Cayman, sorry, the Gremlin, not the Cayman. The Cayman's not a muscle car. Yeah. Other than the Gremlin, not really all that much has gone around, so I'm sure that'll be rectified in the upcoming weeks. I do have a fair few requests for various muscle car vehicles, but I guess the limo, that's not really a muscle car, but similar sort of idea, I guess. Crazy thing with way too much power. But so far, it drives okay. The suspension is weird. The suspension's a lot softer than it feels like it should be. It's race suspension, but it really feels more like... it doesn't feel like rally suspension or anything like that, but it does feel more like sports suspension. The car's sort of not particularly happy on it. It does make a pretty good noise though. Of course, that Viper V10, 8.5 litres, and Viper V10 at this point. It is pretty great. Right. So far, so average. It's alright. It is certainly okay. Ooh, a bit of understeer through there. The rear end grip seems to be pretty good. It doesn't really spin its wheels all that much. I'm going to put that down to the fact that it has 3, 4, 5 tyres on the rear, which are ridiculous. It feels like it's sort of... everything surrounding the car is good. You know, the engine's strong, the tyres are very good. Overall stats are very good on this car. It sort of feels through the corners though like the chassis age is really showing. It doesn't feel the most rigid or solid. It feels a little bit floaty, a little bit weird. It feels like it rides about a good metre higher than it does. Well, a couple of centimetres higher than it does, which is not particularly great. I was going to keep an eye on speed down there, but apparently I didn't. I think crashing into that wall, I don't know if it's any quicker or not. I try to avoid it, but it happens quite a lot, so I'm trying to avoid it in the same way that I try to avoid looking awkward in public, in which case I don't really avoid it, but I try to think I do. Anyways, right, enough about my sex life. Oh, right, there we go. Yeah, she's a bit luggy. She's definitely American. Definitely American. Also, in typical American car fashion, it feels like it weighs about 1,500 pounds more than it does, which is not a positive thing. I don't mean that in a reassuring good way. I mean that in a this thing is not good sort of way. So it is unfortunate. Got a decent amount of traction there though. 147. Wait, a 147.722. I wasn't even paying attention. Holy crap, that's quick. I was in my own little world. I was thinking about what to have for dinner. I was thinking of putting on some burgers or something, and then all of a sudden that happens. Jesus Christ. Wow, okay. That was unexpected. It's still quicker than the Cayman. I feel so bad for that Cayman, man. The Cayman really... It's become quite apparent the cars are starting to get quicker and quicker as I get more used to this circuit. I'm starting to learn it a bit more. Stuff is starting to creep up that leaderboard ever so slightly. So, yeah. To be fair, the Cayman, though, wasn't massively great from what I remember. It was pretty quick, but like it wasn't massively interesting or anything like that. I don't think it had all that much power, to be fair, but there you go. This thing definitely has a lot of power, because I think, what did I say, 1200 horsepower? So this is basically running about 6 times the power it had stock, or almost 6 times the power it had stock. And it's doing a reasonably good job of keeping it in check. It is quicker straight line speed-wise than I perhaps expected. The tyres are doing a good job. As I said previously, the problem with this car is just everything around it. You can sort of see it through the corners. It's sort of swaying around and jerking. It's not massively rigid, which is... Usually I'm not able to identify stuff like that much through driving the cars. You know, usually I'll just say, oh, it oversteers a lot, or, you know, the suspension's soft or something. In this, it just genuinely feels like the chassis is not able to do what the rest of the car can. Which is a little bit unfortunate, because if this car was a bit more rigid, you know, if it was a newer Mustang, this could be very quick indeed. But, I mean, it is very quick indeed. I can't... It said a 147.722, as I wasn't even thinking. So, it must be pretty darn good. But, yeah, it's certainly a lot more promising than Inferno's other request. Inferno's other request is probably going to signal the death of me. In a, I'm going to fly through a coffee shop backwards at 150 miles an hour sort of way. Quite a few requests do have me very worried for my well-being, let's put it that way. Anyways. Much in the same way as the TVR and the Lamborghini, this is another car which has very long gear ratios. You only really need the first 4 gears. I've never really noticed that until tonight. Maybe that's an issue that every car's had so far, but yeah, it's definitely, you can feel those gears are pretty darn long. It does struggle through the sweeper, there is no denying that. This thing really, it's another car which sort of does feel like it would benefit quite greatly from some rear downforce. And, yeah, other than that, though, I mean, it does feel like it's very quick. It does feel like something that could be tuned to be much quicker than it is. Especially, you know, if you worked on the suspension settings and all the rest of it and trying to make it feel a bit more, less like jelly, it would be a quicker car. Yes, certainly, no denying that. Ooh, this is going to be quick, though. 146.709. Wow, yeah, I mean, considering what the stats said about this car, you know, it's only S1 class 876, it's doing bloody well, to say those are the stats. That does actually put it ahead of the limo, which I believe makes it the second fastest American car we've had, just behind that GT40. I don't see it being the GT40. You know, the GT40 was a better car, but this is very impressive. Again, you know, despite what the stats say, it is quick. And the funny thing is, you know, I'm complaining a bit about the chassis not feeling rigid and all that. It doesn't feel like that's affecting the time all that much. It just means keeping it controlled is a little bit more difficult. But it's good, man. It really is very, very good. No denying that. One of the better cars that I've had. I do think this is a series where the American cars are going to do quite well. Because American cars typically can have the bigger engines. They can typically have bigger rear tyres. It's just a case of keeping that power controlled will be their downfall. But yeah, the American cars and stuff like that do appear like they're going to do quite well. Especially if this Fox body is anything to go by. This is a very quick car. But yeah, I mean, it is actually a good car to drive. I can't deny that too much. It is certainly better than I expected it to be. With that PI number, I was getting a little bit worried, like that Alpha from earlier today, but you know, it is better than the PI suggests, certainly, and it just shows, you know, sometimes the PI number is just a number. You know, it's not really all. It's a useful guideline, but it's not always the be-all and end-all. And a 146.408 rounds off the surprisingly good-to-drive Ford Foxbox. Yeah, impressive, certainly. You know, with those rear tyres and the engine and everything, it is good. Some people may say about the V12, I don't think the V12 would really improve this car all that much. I've got to be honest, you know. Even with 1200 horsepower, it feels like it's spinning away some of that potential. This thing with 1000 horsepower probably could have been just about on pace, if not even slightly quicker. But even still, you know, it is an incredible car to drive, certainly. I had a sneaking suspicion this would be good as soon as I saw those rear tyres. But I was not expecting it to be quite that good. Anyways, with a 146.408, that will put it into 8th place. It goes in between the Ford GT40 EcoBoost and the 1500 horsepower limo. It is almost 2 seconds up on the Porsche Cayman. It's almost 3 seconds up on the AMC Gremlin, which, again, you know, the Gremlin was a pretty good car to drive. About a half second down on the Subaru Impreza Hawkeye, which, again, that was a very, very good vehicle. Really not a very bad time from the Fox body. I was not expecting it to be that level of quick. I was not expecting it to handle as well as it did. And it's been a genuine surprise. Quite a lot of cars tonight that I've recorded have been a genuine surprise. Also, this also appears to be like the Alpha, another car which gets a lot dirtier than I thought it would. Unless that's just because it's a white car. Probably just that. Anyways, thank you all very much for watching this edition of Silly Car Showdown. If you'd like to request cars for the series, a couple of ways you can do that. You can comment down below in the comment section on either my video on my channel or the video on HG Central where this is co-hosted, and request cars in there. Alternatively, join my Discord and you can submit cars in the request chat. I would prefer it if you go down that route, just because it 100% guarantees that I will see them. And of course, in the description is a link to the request sheet, which apparently I forgot to mention for the last few episodes. A request sheet which has everyone's requests on there, so you can make sure you're not treading on anyone's feet or so on and so forth. If you've enjoyed me, my name's Emile. If you're watching this on HG Central, my link is down below in the description. Come and enjoy some very subpar content, and also these videos a day early. But with that all being said and done, thank you all very much for watching, and until next time, a farewell.